Hello everybody, I'm your host Zelda, and I will be your host from now until the end of the marathon. So, I am here with CriticalCyd, who's about to run some Sonic Colors, and whenever you're ready, take it away.
Sounds good. Hello everybody. Welcome. This is Sonic Colors, the original Wii version. Not Ultimate. That's not out yet. That's next month. But yeah. I am basically ready to take it away with a nice 80% run for y'all. So we're gonna go on the new game. Navigator off, because I don't want Tails to backseat game me the whole time. We aren't about that here. And once tech is ready, would say in 3, 2, 1, go. And since it's Sonic Colors, it's gonna throw us straight into it. This game actually does not start with any file select or any nonsense like that. You get thrown straight into the stages. And yeah, this is Sonic Colors from the very start of the game. It's a somewhat 3D, somewhat 2D video game. And we're gonna make sure that it's more 3D than it's supposed to be. There are gonna be 2D sections. I'm gonna be trying to turn them into 3D sections. And let's see how that goes. Oh boy. Huh. I have never gotten the camera stuck there before. That's fine. Let's start over. Welcome everybody, this is Sonic Colors. Alrighty. We're doing it live. It's fine. But yeah, that has never happened before. So if anyone's keeping a counter,
Never happened
yep.
before.
If anyone's keeping a counter, yeah, +1. But that's fine. So yeah, this game has the boost mechanic that is very common in the modern Sonic games, and without boost, we can go pretty dang fast. And yes, I'm gonna try to skip again because it's fun. And unfortunately, I keep not aligning myself with the 2D section properly. So the problem there is that 2D sections are very, very thin. So if you try to turn them into 3D sections, you're not going to go very well. There's going to be more of those, and I'm going to be trying to get those as well. For the time being, for the sake of continuing the run, let's just go ahead and skip this one and do the stage normally. Everything will be fine. So anyway, we have the boost mechanic, and in this game, boost you get from these white wisps that you see everywhere. And not from destroying enemies necessarily, not from rings like you would in other games. In this game, you really do need those specific wisps. And those wisps can be found in capsules that are throughout the stages, as well as specific robots. We also have these trick ramps. They're there to make me feel better after I mess up a skip too many times, so fortunately it gives me some compliments, makes me feel good about myself, makes me happy. Everything's good. Let me skip that nice little loop though, and then there we go. And then whenever I'm on rails and I have multiple rails to switch between, what I do is I switch back and forth in order to actually go a little bit faster. Not only does it maintain my speed, it does actually speed me up just a little bit every time I switch as well. Up to a max, of course, but it is quite important. Anyway, we finally made it to Act 2. Let's go. And since this is 80% and not the essentially New Game Plus Challenge Mode X Shuttle, which is the more commonly run category here, since this is 80%, I do actually have to go through the stages starting with 0 boost, rather than carrying my boost over from the previous stage, which makes the boost routing quite a bit more tight in this category compared to the X Shuttle that I've shown off in the past at this marathon. And the other difference is that all the other wisps, all the other power-ups that I can use to go fast and break the game with, I do not have those yet. So normally that 3D and 2D that I did try to do in Act 1 is actually quite a bit easier thanks to having the laser wisp. Since I did actually have to try and navigate the 2D section a lot more without trying to fall off, and that can be pretty dang difficult. But yeah. Now after these first 2 acts, I finally get to make my save file. Ooh, I got the file name Blaze. Excellent. I love Blaze. Blaze is a great character. Yeah, the file name is randomized. You can put your own one in, but it never shows up, so there's no point having an addenda for it or anything like that. But yeah, now we've made it to Act 3. And in Act 3, I am finally going to unlock the first of the wisps. And this is the laser wisp. Here I'm supposed to use it in order to get to this section. However, with a nice boost jump, I can make it without having to use the laser wisp. So instead, I get to use it here to launch myself way further into the stage. Now here I'm going to be attempting to break out and turn a 2D section into a 3D section again. There we go. And then jump around that. Jump around this. And then get the loop. Bounce off the robot's head. And there we go. Made it through. Excellent. I needed that. I needed that to get back into the groove. But yeah, it makes sense that first one is actually very, very difficult compared to its X-Shuttle variant. I did unfortunately need a laser wisp right here. And there we go. And since I didn't actually get a laser wisp on the way, I had to go ahead and get it somewhere else and just do a little bit of a different route throughout the stage, and that's fine. Now, another thing that you will see in 80% that is not featured in any of the previous runs I've done of this game is this little hub world. You actually have to navigate the map in order to get to the stages, all Super Mario-like. And yeah, it can catch you off guard. Especially if you're not very used to running any percents, then it's like, oh right, I actually have to do upward movement, and I have to skip cutscenes and skip score screens and stuff like that. And I'm saying this because I have definitely not ever lost time to forgetting that. Definitely not. But yeah, this game has a couple of worlds. Every world has 6 acts and 1 boss. The acts are sometimes very short, as you saw on the previous stage. And once again, in this stage I have to do a little bit different strats than what I'm used to from other categories, just because I do not have access to the Spike Wisp yet. If I do aim that laser correctly though, I can actually take the upper laser path, but kind of trick the game into thinking I am on the lower 2D plane. Which then allows me to fall down. Saves a couple of seconds, it's quite nice. And then here I have to manage my boosts very properly, because I do not have a lot of it, and I do actually need to get over there, and had just enough to make it. And with the laser, I can make it to the goal ring. So laser whip is, in this world, the only wisp you're going to be seeing for now. And the way the laser wisp works, it just shoots you forward at a very rapid pace. In 3D, you can actually aim it left and right, and in 2D, you can aim it up and down. If you see those little diamonds, they redirect the laser to a fixed direction, usually another diamond or further into the stage. I'm going to try to get a nice bounce off that guy's head. Very nice. And there we go. We got a goal ring. And we made it to the very first boss fight. The first world is pretty dang fast. It's definitely the fastest world. Not counting the last world, which only really has 1 stage and 1 boss. And this is already boss. Much like the world, it is very fast. So the way this kind of works, you need to hit him 3 times. And you have access to one of the wisps that you unlocked in this world in the actual boss fight itself. If you use that wisp on the boss, then you deal extra damage, so I deal 2 hits instead of 3. And with that, I can make very quick work of him. And there we go. Now I've unlocked the next 2 worlds. I can do this in either order I want. In any percent, it does not actually matter which order I do it in. So it's quite nice as a result of that. And both Sweet Mountain and Starlight Carnival have a pretty dang difficult skip in the first act. So depending on which one you were set, you can put it in whatever order you want in order to well, reset more often. But at least have quicker resets as a result. So here I'm going to be trying to use the laser wisp in order to once again break into 3D where I'm not supposed to be 3D. There we go. And I just need to make sure I don't fall off the 2D section again. There we go. Jump around a bunch of stuff. Very nice. And then I'm going to boost my way all the way through the next section. Very nice. And I actually managed to keep my ground boost as well. The funny thing about that particular skip is that it actually has a chance to lock your ability to do a ground boost. Which is why I was doing small hops before all of my boosts, just in case I didn't have a ground boost. Because if you try the ground boost and you don't have it, then you just kind of screw up your own rhythm. Don't really like that. So I just make sure that I always do a small hop and do an air boost, just in case my ground boost is locked. With that stage, I also unlocked the Drill Wisp. You were supposed to see it in that stage, but I kind of skipped all of that with that nice 3D and 2D. But you will see it later on in the stage, no worries. With the name Drill, I'm sure you can understand what it does. But for the time being, I'm going to set up for the next skip actually. Because even though this is any percent, there is still a lot of skips in this run. So even though I don't have everything unlocked yet, I can still do a lot of skips. A lot of them don't need specific wisps, some of them... Anyway, I'm going to try to jump as soon as I land on this rail. Very nice. And then jump off of the... Ooh, okay. Was just barely too late, 1 frame too late. There's like a very small window there where I can jump off of the rail into the background and skip this entire section. It is very tight. And yeah, you only get 1 shot at it. Well, that's fine. Okay. And then here's finally the Drill Wisp. Now, in order to be able to even attempt that skip, I did need to actually jump off of onto the rail and over a booster at the start of that rail, because otherwise the booster would lock me to the rail, take away my ability to jump, and I wouldn't have even been able to attempt it. So that's why I specifically did a bit of a jump there. Alright, on to Act 3. In Act 3 we are going to unlock the Rocket Wisp, which goes up very fast like a rocket. Has a little bit of a build-up time, sadly, so it's usually not too fast to use it, but there are cases, depending on the stage design, where we kind of have to. And this is of course one of those stages. Alright, make it past that rocket before it hits me in the face. And then this is one of those sections where using the rocket is definitely faster. Nice. Let's see. And then upcoming we have a little bit of a drift section. The game has certain specific 3D sections, but they're only locked to that specific area. So normally I do not have the ability to drift, but in that area I do. Which means that I can do a nice drift jump to get a little bit of extra height and kind of skip to a faster path without having to take the slower rails. It's quite nice. Whew. And don't worry, Zelda, in the next World Starlight Carnival there will be plenty of time for you to talk. But in the first couple of worlds, things happen in very rapid succession. So.
Don't worry about it. I'm having a good time.
I'm glad. I am as well. Alright, so this is Sweet Mountain Act 4. It is entirely 2D, and yet there is another 3D and 2D skip, because it's actually 2 different 2D sections, and in order to travel between them, the game needs to give you 3D physics at some point. And that one specific instance is going to be enough for us to completely break the rest of the stage. Alright. Using the laser wisp that I picked out of the air there, I can go directly to the goal ring. Very nice. And that skips a whole bunch of elevators. It's a very big skip. It's very nice. Now, in order to actually aim my laser up there, I did actually need to pull like specific point on that loop. Because normally in 3D you cannot aim your laser up or down. So instead I had to just position Sonic in a way where he was facing upwards, so that the laser would also face upwards. It's very nice. Alright, so this is one of those stages that unfortunately has to go a little bit slower than normal, since I do not have access to any of the wisps that are available in the stage yet. But that's fine. It's still gonna be plenty fast. And instead we get to use these lollipop. You just kind of swing on them and throw myself to the upper route. Navigate the blocks right there. Oh boy, ran out of boost just before I got the rest of the boost. Unfortunate. Boost management is very, very tight in this category. And there we go. The next stage, once again, is going to be one of those cases where usually I would have preferred to use a wisp, but the only wisp available in this particular stage I have not unlocked yet. So we're going to be doing some other stuff. Once again, that stage with very tight boost management. So even though I just got boost, I'm not actually going to use it because I need it all later. Fortunately, I do have Sonic's homing attack, so that I can get rid of those enemies very quickly. And I'm going to jump down here and use this ramp to do a nice ramp jump. Hopefully get up there. Very nice. Oh. Did not, unfortunately, manage to bounce off of those robots' head to get up there, but with the ramp that comes immediately afterwards, we have a nice backup strat. And I managed to get up there anyway. That way I didn't have to do a whole bunch of awkward jumping on some blocks. Instead, I could just take the rail of the upper route and get it. It's very nice. And with that, we've already made it to the boss here. This boss is going to be quite more significant than the previous one. He actually has two different phases. You have this ship phase, in order where I have to get to the end of the ship in order to take it down. He has a switch for it, fortunately. This ship just... The switch destroys the switch, essentially. The ship. The switch destroys the ship. Yes, that. And then along the way, I also picked up a drill wisp, because in this phase I have to homing attack him 3 times, or I have to hit him with the drill once. Normally you have to go through each phase 3 times, but because I am damaging him with the drill wisp, I'm actually doing such a high amount of damage that I only have to do each phase 2 times. It's a lot better. And those drill wisps are actually in very specific bullets that the ship is firing. I can't just destroy any random bullet and hope to get a drill wisp. They are always in very specific spots, so I just make sure to take some time to destroy the correct bullets and get the drill. And now I'm going to take a drink. And then in the next World Star Carnival, Act 1, we have a pretty big skip in the first stage. And after that, I am going to let Zelda do a whole bunch of talking. I hope you're ready. I'm warning you, just in case you were eating. We were talking about this before.
Okay. Fine.
No worries.
I've got my snacks prepared, don't worry.
Sounds good. Alright, so this is an automated path. I don't actually have to do anything here. There's going to be a lot of automated paths in this stage. It's a very cinematic stage, but as a result, there's less gameplay. And even in this section, it's still automated running, so I can technically just use one hand. And funnily enough, this is also the only automated section where air dashing is actually faster. It's even faster than boosting, so if I add boost, I would specifically get rid of my boost for it. Alright, let's see. Alright, cool. Landed on the path without actually hitting the trigger for the automated run section. Otherwise, my ability to jump would be locked, and I would not be able to do this. But now I managed to do a nice jump, skip an entire 2D section, about 20 seconds worth. And with that, it is a lot of automated running again, so take it away, Zelda.
Okay, chat, I have a little game for you actually with this next donation.
Ooh.
I want to see how many colorful puns you can recognize. We have $5 from Big to Dave Proxy saying, "Are we ready to begin? Got a gold fast. Brunetta loaded this. You blew it. It's all ochre now."
Nice. I like it when Dave makes the colorful puns, because they're usually a bit more big-brained than the average color pun. I like it. He uses stuff like ochre, which is nice.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It took me about 10 minutes to completely understand what that incentive actually meant. Sorry, not incentive. Bit message, not bis.
Yeah.
Oh my god, donation message. There we go.
Everything's fine. Thank you. And with that, we actually aren't even at the next section yet. It's yet more cinematic stuff. And no, I'm kidding. We're actually there now. Next to the section here, I'm going to be unlocking the best Wisp. It is the Cube Wisp, and his special power is having a special place in my heart. I've said it time and time again. I love him. Partially because he's blue, but also if you've seen the new animation of the Sonic Colors Rise of the Wisp that came out a few days ago, you will understand why I love Cube Wisp. His actual powers are not that interesting. He can turn Cube Wisp rings into Cube blocks and vice versa, and does a whole bunch of damage whenever he activates that power. But unfortunately, that's the only time we will see the Cube Wisp, assuming I'm not bad. If I'm bad, we'll see it again. There's a strat where Cube Wisp is the backup strat of the backup strat, so we'll see. I'm not promising anything. We might see him again. I love Cube Wisp. He's cute. He's very cute. Alright. Now here in Act 2, I have to once again do a little bit of routing around the fact that I do not have all of the Wisps unlocked yet. Normally I would like to use the Spike Wisp yet in here. But instead, all I have is Cube. Oh my god! We get to use Cube! I totally forgot! I totally forgot, this is 90%, there's 2 Cube strats, yay! Okay, oh boy. I'm going to just go ahead and try to damage boost my way throughout these spikes. There we go. Because otherwise I would have to take the long way around, which requires even more Cube, which is nice, but it is unfortunately slower. And these platforms are actually very difficult to get on. They're very high up from where you actually are. Oh boy. And then especially so if you slide down afterwards. There's 2 Cube strats in any percent. I love this category. Totally forgot. In X Shuttle there's only 1. Now we say goodbye to Cube. Less Cube. And yeah, this is the first of 2 bouncy stages. And there's these bouncy springs that are going to be chasing me throughout. I'm going to try avoid using them as much as possible, because they actually move much faster when they're chasing you. They're trying to get you. And whenever you are actually on them, they just take their sweet time. I can't speed them up when they go vertically though, so I'm just going to be standing here bouncing and bounce for the rest of the stage. If there's another donation, go right ahead.
No donations right now, unfortunately, though I am waiting on those colorful puns, I should add. I do want to quickly remind people that we have 2 incentives for The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, one of which being the file name, which nobody has donated for yet, so if you want to give the file a name, get your donations in. And we also have an incentive for the Release Cuckoo bonus run, which were about, let's see here, 55 out of 250 euros, so if you want to see that happen as well, get your donations in, preferably with a little pun at the end.
I vote for naming the file name Cube, in honor of Cube Wisp. But I'm not the one with the money here, so, you know, I don't have a say in the matter. Anyway, here's X4. I still have a ongoing dispute for many years with some runners that this is not a good stage, and I think it is a really good stage. They disagree with me. But yeah, as long as you do things properly, it's a very nice platforming stage, and you could just beat all of these cycles. And I of course mean that this is a good stage when you're doing these very consistent strats. I do not wish to acknowledge the strats of Cryptic Jackknife, where he actually tries to do a boost jump off of one of those green orbs, and those green orbs have their own gravitational field. They're like little planets, so you get stuck on them. But he does a boost jump off of them. Man's crazy. But no, it's a good stage. Honestly, truly. Anyway, more auto running. And this time I can jump. As a matter of fact, because of the way the path curves here, I can jump very, very high. Whee! I do need to make sure that I do not do anything other than that, though. I make sure I don't stomp or anything, or do any slides, because that will actually slow me down. There have been automated running sections where I could do whatever I want without being slowed down, assuming it lets me do anything at all. This one, nope. Once again, X differently. Every single one of them X differently. It's very weird. And in a lot of them, it's actually not faster to boost either, so that's you're better off just conserving your boost for later. Ooh, nice. Managed to get the block section without getting stuck on any of the blocks. Very nice. Anyway, we have our new friend. We have Hover Wisp, and kinda have to mash the button real quick here. The nice thing about Hover Wisp is it gives Sonic his light dash ability from other games, where he can dash along a trail of rings. And whenever he is doing that, he actually does not deplete the Wisp meter. So Hover will just kind of stay indefinitely as long as you are light dashing. And the nice thing is, if you just mash the light dash button, the meter will deplete not as fast, so you can get a lot higher than you normally would. Which is also, again, very nice for this section. You don't even need to mash that terribly fast, which is good, because smashing is my worst skill in gaming. I can't mash. But I can mash well enough to make Hover happen. It's all good. Bit of an awkward mash though, because you also have to hold on to the A button to go up. But there we go, that's Hover. And don't worry, we'll be seeing Hover again. Hover's a good boy. Have I mentioned the Wisps are cute? I love the Wisps. Ooh. Sonic Colors Ultimate, the re-release is releasing in, I want to say, 2 weeks from now? It's actually going to have another Wisp, the Jade Wisp, which actually essentially acts like a ghost. I'm very much looking forward to how that is going to potentially change the run. Or maybe it won't at all. You never know. Maybe it's just slow. Anyway. Over here I actually made sure not to mash too much, because there are rings all over the place, and if I'm near rings while I press the light dash button, that means I'm going into the whichever directions those rings are going to send me. So I need to be very specific with where I did mash and where I just took the light dashes in order to proceed. Yeah, very nice. I've already made it onto the boss fight of this particular zone. In this case, I do not actually get to use any of the wisps that I unlocked in the zone. Instead, we once again get access to Laser. And Laser is going to do 16 homing attacks worth of damage every time I use it. So I want to use Laser as much as possible. So first off, I'm going to hit him 10 times in order to make him go into his next attack phase and drop a Laser Wisp. Then I'm going to attack him 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And then for the 10th hit, which is the last hit before he goes into his next attack phase, I'm actually going to use the Laser Wisp to, instead of doing 1 homing attack, do 16 homing attacks worth of damage. Unfortunately, his center is now too damaged, so I actually need to make sure that I draw him to one of the sides. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits, ha ha ha. And that is the boss. Very nice.
Hello everybody, it's your host Zelda here. We're currently experiencing some internet issues, so we're gonna get it fixed and we'll be back shortly. Stay tuned!
So we're continuing now? Immediately?
I
I think so.
Yep.
Okay, I thought that was
think
that.
so, yeah.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Hello again, everybody. Alright. Sorry about that. The boss kind of killed the stream as well. I'm gonna have to... I did not know that boss had a direct line to my ISP, but apparently it did, and it was not very happy about the fact that I destroyed it. But here we are. We are now in the first act of the next world. This is Planet of the Wisp, the home world of the Wisps, which is currently under construction to become, well, not the home world of the Wisps anymore, but hopefully not too bad. I will keep glancing over at my stream to look if it stays stable now. Hopefully, I think we should be fine. Probably, yes. Okay, cool. Well, I feel kind of down about that, so thank you, game. Thank you. I needed that. I needed those compliments.
Oh, don't feel down. It's okay.
No, don't worry. I feel good now. The game gave me compliments with the compliment round, so everything's fine. We're doing good. Alright. So, here in Planet Wisp, I actually unlocked the Spike Wisp, which not only clings to walls and ceilings, but also unlocks Sonic's spin dash ability, which is quite nice. And I will be using that to skip another section at the end of the stage, where instead of going through a nice block maze, I'm just going to take the Spike Wisp and go under it. Whee! Very nice. And from this point on, there are actually no more strats that are limited by wisps for me, because there's only one more wisp to unlock. That's a Frenzy Wisp, and that does not actually have any speedrunning use in the next two worlds. So I can take these in any order and not have to worry about which strats I do. So once again, you can just do Planet Wisp Act 1 if you wanna Planet Wisp if you wanna start with the tricks there, or Asteroid Coaster if that world is more difficult for you. It's a very nice about 90%. Very flexible route. Oh, I got a red ring. Very nice. I actually want to try to not get too many red rings, but I will have to get a lot in order for it to become a problem. Because red rings do have this little animation where they unlock game land stages, and if you get too many, then you lose some time to getting those animations. But those animations aren't long enough to really warrant going out of your way to avoid a lot of red rings for. So we do get some. But yeah, I'd like to not get an extra one of those animations still. Right. And that's Act 2.
Time for a quick donation?
Absolutely, go ahead.
We have €4.27 from Niominsha. I'm sorry if I butchered that name. Who's saying, I hate to make you feel blue, Sid, but I won't name that file cube. Instead, I suggest squiggly.
Sounds good to me. I was merely making suggestions. If y'all guys that thinks you want to name that file, other than that, go right ahead. And if there's anyone fighting for cube, then I respect you extra. I'm just saying. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a nice little ramp jump right here in order to jump over these blocks so that I can actually carry my laser wisp with me and do a laser wisp right here to just fall into the goal ring. Very nice. If I didn't make that, there was a backup strat where I had to jump on robots' heads and do a bunch of tight wall jumps, and if I then failed that strat as well, that's where Cube Wisp would have come in again. So nice timing for that donation, actually. That was the only possible cube stage. But I got the fastest strat, so it's all good. Now over here is another drift section. Usually drifting is not actually faster, so instead I would just kind of tap the drift button in order to turn quicker. That's fine. There we go. Nice slide under those walls. Those walls have very weird hitboxes, so if you're going too fast, you can actually just kind of end up getting stuck on one of those hitboxes and it's stopping your slide. So I actually have to manage my speed there. And then with a nice ricochet of this laser up here, I can get to the final section way faster than I would otherwise be able to. And boop! Here's the goal ring. Now the next stage is a very fast one. And this one is actually one of the few stages that is limited by the fact that I can't carry my boost over from the previous stage. So, whereas usually I would just go into this with half a bar of boost in an actual run, in any percent, I actually have to go out of my way to get boost down here. He sniped me. We have a sniper. I don't like that. Alright, there we go. I got him. And now I have boost, so I can do the rest of this stage a bunch faster. And I actually want to be out of boost by the end of it, just so that I can air dash onto that block. Those blocks are destroyed by boost, which is why I would rather not have boost there. It's also a lot easier to manage your speed if you do an air dash instead of an air boost. And there we go. Making short stages longer by dying. Let's go. And now we have Planet Wisp Act 6. Usually when a really difficult, stupid new strategy gets found, it is in this stage. You will not be seeing most of them as a result, because most of them are really only friendly for an individual level segment. But yeah, usually when something new gets found, it's like, it's Planet Wisp Act 6 again, isn't it? And it's like, yep. There we go. I am going to do a nice little strat right here, where I'm going to boost into the upcoming 2D section. And I managed to thread the needle. Even the strats I do in this stage are stupid. Oh well, it's a very fun stage when it goes well. But don't worry, we're just gonna try that again. Alright, build up some speed with some rail jumps. There we go. Whew. So what I want to do is to get to this platform up ahead, but I kept just barely being short. And that's because you are trying to get as much 3D speed as possible before you actually properly get transitioned into 2D speed. But you can't do it too much, because there's also invisible walls that will block you if you try to go too far out. Right. Now here you have a very long and high climbing section that we are not going to do. I'm just going to Spike Wisp on the side of the stage and jump into the glow ring. But yeah, in this game you do actually move faster in 3D than you move in 2D. So another benefit of the 3D and 2Ds is, like, even when you can't really skip all that much of the stage, at the very least you move faster. Now here is the first boss again, but this time with Spike Wisp instead of Laser Wisp. He does actually have some different attacks. After you hit him once, he goes into an attack where he is essentially invulnerable for a little bit. But before he goes into that attack, he is vulnerable for exactly 1 frame. And all I have to do is be in Spike Wisp form right in front of his face on that 1 frame, and it will automatically damage him. So that's the exact setup I did. And as a result, it is even faster than the first iteration of that boss in Tropical Resort. Right. Time for my favorite zone aesthetically, Aquarium Park. Absolutely love the way this one looks. Going to be doing a couple of cool skips in this one as well. And this first stage has a 3D and 2D that I'm going to be attempting. So I need to keep my speed here, do a laser, and then try to land on the side over here. Barely did not make it out of bounds, so that's unfortunate. Only saves like 10 seconds. A lot of the big skips really only save like 5 to 10 seconds in this game. So we're doing inbound strats, so I'm going to laser up here instead, run on the buildings. And we're going to go ahead and drill, but this time on the water. It actually comes with a different soundtrack as well. There we go. Oh boy, I am out of boost. That's right, I did not have any boost carrying over from the boss fight. Almost hit the fish at the end there. Alright, cool. This next stage is what I call my warm-up stage, because it is just 20 seconds of tight platforming, and if your timing is off, you will die. So usually whenever your button timing is off, you will notice very well on this stage, so it's a very nice full warm-up, just to make sure that all of your input timings are correct. Because the thing about Sonic Colors is if you time your input incorrectly, there are actually quite a lot of frames where your input will just not go through, like dead frames, as I like to call them. So usually whenever you mistime your inputs, you just kind of, nothing happens, and you stand there looking like an idiot, and the viewers are wondering, what's he even doing? It's like, well, I was just one frame too early on my input. That's all. Fortunately, this game runs at 30 FPS, so the input timings usually aren't too bad. And the re-release is going to be at 60 FPS, so I am absolutely ready to just look as if I've never played this game before. Because all the input timings are going to be possibly different.
Is there time for a donation?
There is absolutely time for a donation, because this is a very slow stage since I have to deal with underwater movements.
Okay, gotcha. We have 10 euros from Grandmeister saying, no worries, Sid, we're nearing the end of the marathon. Sida will survive. In the meantime, let's push this on towards the 5k.
Thank you, Grandmeister. And don't worry, I wasn't too worried about Zeta. He doesn't know where I live.
Oh my god.
We love you, Zeta.
Love you, Zeta.
Alrighty. So yeah, as you can see, underwater movement is unfortunately very slow, and whenever you don't have the drill wisp, that is. So in Act 1 and in this act, I have the benefit of having the drill wisp, which makes underwater movement a lot more bearable. So here I just gotta make sure that all of my stomps are exactly on point, so that I stomp right onto the drill wisp. A little bit too late. I'm going to destroy this fish to feel better about myself, and because he has boosted, I want. They're not real fish, they're robots, don't worry. Robots don't have feelings. Assuming you didn't program any feelings, please. Don't do that. Anyway. Some more nice drilling over here. And then here I'm picking up a laser wisp, which I am actually going to be taking with me right up until the end. At the end there is a chase section in which you move very slowly. So I'm going to attempt this laser shot right here. There we go. I broke through the start trigger for the chase sequence, which means that rather than having a very slow chase sequence with very limited max movement speed, I'm just going to fall. And I am actually going to bail out and run for the rest of the way, because you kind of keep moving faster exponentially as you keep falling, because they didn't program a limited falling speed in this section, I think. I don't know why exactly, but yeah, you just kind of keep moving. And there's a lot of invisible walls that will just kind of send me flying all over the place if I hit them. So the safe way to do that in runs outside of individual levels is to just bail out halfway through. And fortunately, your movement speed on the final path is still increased since we're not in the actual chase section. I love that skip. Alright, and here we have the second spring stage. Once again, some very nice tight platforming, because I'm trying to not actually be on the spring, because when I am on the spring it moves slower. So instead, I'm trying to stay just far enough ahead of me of the spring that it will keep chasing me at its fastest speed, because the screen is actually limited to where the spring is in terms of the camera. There we go. And if you go too far away from the spring, it starts moving slow again, because then it's just like, I can't catch up, I'm not gonna bother. Which means that the camera was also not moving in that case, and yeah, I'd have to do the rest of the stage blind. Which is exactly what people do in the individual level. It's crazy. Sorry, I just wanted a moment of silence there to appreciate the music, and so I could bounce along to it. It's very nice. I love it. Alright. Already on to Act 6 of Aquarium Park. And now I'm going to try to stomp directly onto the spring. Ah, barely missed it. That's fine. Here we have these little red fishies, and what these red fishies do is they make underwater movement a lot more bearable by giving me a lot more underwater speed. So combine that with the fact that I have an infinite jump underwater. As long as you have these fishies, you are actually very, very mobile underwater, even if you don't have to drill. Unfortunately there, I did have to drill. Alright, very nice. Need some more hover right here. The upcoming section, it can be very, very scary. It's some very tight platforming with a whole bunch of enemies shooting bullets at you. But if you do just the right amount of jumps and boosts, you can ignore pretty much all of it. But it's pretty tight. And then right here, I am going to boost off of here, use the hover in order to go upwards. Higher than the game anticipated, actually. And funnily enough, I don't even have to extend the hover for that. I can get enough height in order to boost over the invisible walls even without it. Which means that I am now in the final 3D section of the stage, but I'm also underwater, which means I have my underwater infinite jump. And as it turns out, if you combine that with 3D physics, it is very powerful. You are never supposed to be underwater in 3D. There we go. Now this boss, much like how the last boss was a redo of the Tropical Resort boss, this boss is a redo of the Sweet Mountain boss, except this time it's on the water. I am once again having to destroy some of these bullets or torpedoes in order to get the Drill Wisp, and then I'm going to hit the boss with the Drill Wisp. Well, what's important is that I do not destroy those bullets with the final capsule, because then you will not get the Drill Wisp, or with Sonic's face. If it hits Sonic's face, you also don't get the Drill Wisp. Or any other part of his body, for that matter. There we go. Did not get any boost, unfortunate. There's some small enemies there, but it's random where they are. Otherwise, I would have been able to do this section very slightly faster. But yeah, I need to make sure that I guide this torpedo into these glass bubbles in order to destroy them instead. There we go. And then I'm going to once again drill the boss in his butt. There we go. And I would say this is a pretty good moment for Zelda to chime in if she has anything to say.
Unfortunately, I don't have any donations for you right now, but I can tell you all about our charity that we are raising money for. We are raising money for Mind, which is a nationwide organization committed to prevent mental health issues. Sorry, got distracted. And to support everyone who is dealing with mental health issues themselves or within their family. All of your donations will go to Mind. In every region of the world, mental disorders surpass 10% of the population. Governments seem to lack momentum in reducing the burden of mental health problems, as only 55% of mental health awareness and only 8% of suicide prevention plans. Organizations like Mind help raise awareness to the issue, helping to get us one step closer to a world where everyone gets the help that they need.
Thank you very much. And do not worry, I know that feel whenever you're hosting and you're in the middle of saying something and then you're like, wait, what was I doing?
Yeah, I have like two screens up, and I saw like in the corner of my eye that my own stream was actually lagging, and that like distracted me from reading the plug text, so...
No worries, no worries. I have been there. Right. In the meantime, I've already skipped like 3 sections in this stage, just with jumping over an invisible wall and boosting to the next section. It's like a frenzy section, the last wisp, where it introduces that, as well as the roller coaster section and a 2D section. Alright, now here at the end there's also a 2D section, and I actually managed to keep my 3D physics for it, which means that I can jump around these boxes, and that skip is actually pretty dang scary, because there's also gravity changing fields, so you're dealing with 3D and 2D physics while your gravity is changing. It saves like 3 or 5 seconds at most, so very much worth doing, not scary at all. But still, it's a really cool looking skip. Shout out to Kirby Master, who found that skip completely by accident by forgetting how the old strat went and just boosting way too far. And it's like, oh hey, I'm 3D now. Alrighty. Now here we have one of the toughest stages in the game. We're gonna start actually with the new Wisp Frenzy, and Frenzy has a really powerful jump attack with a lot of momentum behind it. Which means that I could just jump up there and manage to hit those springs. You can actually only homing attack the top spring there. If you try to homing attack the bottom spring, it will just kind of throw you off. It's very weird. Is cat okay?
You just kind of fell off.
Yeah, now's a bad time, Punchy. I'm about to do one of the hardest tricks of the run. Or attempt to.
Well, she says good luck.
Thank you. Why now? Alright, cool. I managed to break out. Thanks for the help, Punchy. Alright, there we go. Land on that upside down. Go through the gravity fields in order to get to the goal ring. And bam, sub 1. Very nice. I don't think I've ever had to do that skip with cat intervention, but it worked.
She normally doesn't roll off her cat tree. I don't know what happened.
She just rolled off?
Yeah.
Oh my god. She's crazy.
Even cats can be a little clumsy sometimes.
Oh, they absolutely can. Yesterday she was just kind of running around in a storm. Don't blink, by the way, it's stage already over. She was just kind of running around the apartment in the storm, and in trying to jump onto the couch, she noticed like, oh no, his knee is there instead. My trajectory is now not going where I want to. In order to recover, she very aggressively jumped off of my chest, scratching me in the process.
Oh my god.
It was a nice
Were you
recovery,
okay,
but I was okay. I was only slightly hurt. It was mostly my feelings that were hurt. But then I remembered she's a cat, and I'm not taking it too personal. In case you're wondering why I'm talking about my cat, have you seen this stage? I'm just running in circles until I can hit a switch to spawn the goal ring. This is why I talk about my cat instead. I love cats, dude. They're crazy.
If you want, I could quickly remind people about our very last incentives.
Nah, don't worry. There's plenty of time for that later. For now, we're actually onto the fun stages again. Oh, thank you. Thanks for licking my
Fair
nose. Yeah, I love you, Punchy. That was her apologizing. She's very sweet.
Aww.
I like to imagine that's her apologizing. I don't think she actually has any concept of wrongdoing there. They're cats. Anyway, very nice laser there at the end to get rid of a lot of the enemies. I need to actually get rid of all of the enemies in order to spawn the goal ring there. And if you aim your laser just right, you can even get the 2 up top, but that's very tight. As long as you get all of the ones on the bottom, then you should be pretty good for a fast time. Now, this is the stage where I cry that I am running any percents, because there is a really cool strat here that you could do if you have boosts, but that's impossible in any percents, so I just have to sit on this roller coaster for a little bit. Maybe grab some rings. Rings are pretty good. So, yeah. Roller coasters. They're pretty cool. You can jump on them. Don't do that. It's a terrible idea. And homing attack onto these particular blocks. And I'm going to be doing another skip in this stage. Even though this is like the last really interesting stage, it once again does have a skip though. And yeah, this is a very powerful one actually. This is the one that saves by far the most amount of time in the game. Because this is a very long stage that actually has a mini boss at the end, and I'm going to be trying to skip all of that by breaking out of bounds in this 2D section while I have underwater physics. Because they decided to put water in this. You fools. Oh, there we go. Stuck in the wall. Now I am going to go ahead and get some more air for Sonic, otherwise he will drown. There we go. Using the momentum from that pogo stick, I can break out of bounds. Now, of course, if I'm underwater in 2D, I can't actually do all that much. Fortunately, there is a lingering 3D trigger right there from the dive section. So with that, I now have 3D physics and underwater physics at the same time, which means goodbye to the entire rest of the stage. Very nice. Okay. Now, if I was a man that was particularly ballsy, there is a strat that's frame perfect on this boss that I could do. But I'm going to do Sida a favor, since I already had tech issues and not attempted and potentially lose like minutes. You're welcome, Zeta. This is for you. I'm being a pansy for you. I hope you appreciate it. So instead I'm going to do the safe method, which is only 7 seconds slower anyway. So I'm going to use this rocket not in order to reset the 2D section like the game wants me to. Instead I'm going to use the rocket on the boss and then do a stomp right away. Have to make sure the stomp is fast enough, so mash it pretty hard. And then I'm just going to hang back. And with that rocket and the stomp, I managed to hit a part of the boss's hitbox that just kinda makes it glitch out and destroy itself. So, bye. Goodbye, boss. We'll miss you. The funny thing is if I was not tight enough with my stomp, I actually would not have gotten that strat either, and I would have looked like an absolute fool, and Zeta would have cried either way. Right, now there's like 4 cutscenes to skip through.
Xeda says he appreciates you, Sid.
I appreciate you too. Alrighty, this is Terminal Velocity. It is auto-running all the way through, and there's not actually any of the auto-running sections that you can speed up until the end. So I'm just going to be sitting here, dodging lasers, while Zelda is going to pluck the remaining incentives.
Hell yeah. So we have 2 last incentives coming up for The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. We currently have a file name bid war going on. We have Morshu currently in first place with 10 euros. Followed by Squiggly with in second place with 4 euros and 27 cents. And we also have the release QQ bonus run, which we're about 60 euros from... no, sorry, other way around. We're about 60 euros and we need 250, so if you want to see that happen, get more of those donations in.
I'm very sad that Cube isn't there.
Well, if someone is willing to donate Cube for you, that would be very nice.
Please? See, I can actually plead for them here, because I do not have to touch the controller. The nice thing about these enemies is, as long as you don't move as the moment they get on this path, they are incredibly passive. They do not know where to find you, they will not attack you. The moment you, like, move to one of the other lanes, they're just like, oh, there he is. But... oh, it was a nice thing. Anyway, this is a section I can chase up, or speed up. We have a little bit of a chase section right here. I'm going to try to keep my boost momentum with some good short hops, which I am not doing. Because I do need to make sure that I conserve enough boost for the very final section of this. And this should hopefully be fine. Because right now the boss, mini-boss is going to go off stage. So I can't actually tell where the lasers are going to come from. So instead my best bet to stay alive is to just kind of stay in front of it. Fortunately, there are these little robots that will drop boost every time I destroy them, consistently, which means that I actually make it to the end safely. Very nice. So yeah, I do not actually consider this a world. As you can see, there's only 3 stages, and one of them is what you just saw. The other one is completely auto-running and always the same time, and the other one is a boss. And the boss is the other major luck part in this run. He is always going to start off with a cube attack, and the cube attack can be either 6 cubes or 8 cubes. So it saves, like, you know, a very, very small amount of time to get 6 cubes instead, because he's done dropping them faster. But I got 8. Doesn't really matter all that much. Next attack can be either spike or laser. Ideally, I want it to be laser in order to be able to get the optimal pattern, because you cannot do laser twice in a row. And I actually want laser on the second attack in the next phase rather than on the first attack. So, but good luck. But spike and laser are both very fast animations, so it doesn't really matter all that much if which one of the two he does. What is important is which attacks he does in this phase, because he can do cube, laser, or spikes, or combination attacks of cube spike and cube lasers. The combination attacks are super slow. There it is, cube spikes. Oh boy. It's also the most dangerous one in terms of stuff to avoid. He did both combination attacks, absolutely wonderful. Oh well. Now if he had done laser on his second attack, like just laser, rather than cube laser, he actually would have skipped an animation as well, which is why that is by far the most optimal pattern. Funnily enough, it's only with laser, and I don't know why. Shoutouts to the Wisps, just hanging out. We're gradually freeing them. Now this last phase is always going to be a spike attack, followed by a very big cube base. I don't know if it actually matters which version of the cube base you get. He's going to be dropping a lot of them in very rapid succession either way, so I don't think the amount of cubes particularly matters with that one. Then a whole bunch of lasers. And even though this is the final boss, I would like to say, this is not where the time ends. There is one more short stage after this, where time will end. Now the music gets very epic. And me and my Wisp buddies are going to destroy Eggman with an unlimited color attack. Yeah! Take that, Eggman. Nice little bit of fireworks. Alright. And then we have just one more stage here. After we skip a cutscene. This stage is going to end at 28.89, assuming I'm not dying on it. And as soon as the in-game timer ends, that is when time ends. You can actually die here. I have obviously, clearly, never ever done that in a run. You cannot prove otherwise. And there we go. We are in the clear. So time is going to be now. Haha. Now we get a lovely little cutscene. And that's Sonic Colors. And if this game looks really cool to you and you want to play it, well, don't worry. It's being released on PC, Xbox One, and PS4 soon in the remake version, Sonic Colors Ultimate. I am not a shill for Sega. I just really love this game. Play this game. So what was the final time?
Your final time is 1 hour and 36 seconds.
Unfortunate. I have a feeling that part of that might be due to the tech issues and when we stopped and started the timing for that.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. It is what it is. Oh well. And yeah, that first stage was very unfortunate, but other than that, I'm very happy with what I got to show off in this run. So thank you very much for watching. I'm going to keep it short, because we already wasted enough time with those tech issues. And we have a very cool run coming up. I believe first an interview, if I read the schedule correctly, and then we have Arcade with Sonic Mania, which is a must watch. Please do watch that, Arcade.
That's very correct. Before we go, I wanted to quickly read out this €5 donation from Tiny Tim, who says, "Hey y'all, unlimited colors, laser, drill, spikes, rocket, cube, hover, frenzy, final color blaster. Cheers!"
Thank you, Tim.
And yes, thank you, Tim. With that, we're gonna go to a quick intermission, and we'll be back with an interview with Genesis, and after that, we'll have some Sonic Mania with Arcade. So, see you then!